The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. Introduction. Finding my voice. Hey, it's me, Britney. For so long, other people have been telling my story, controlling my narrative, deciding what the world gets to know about me. This book is my chance to finally speak for myself, in my own words, about my own life. For 13 years, I wasn't allowed to do that. I wasn't allowed to make my own choices, live my own life, or even have control over my own body. But now I'm free, and I'm ready to share my truth. This isn't just a celebrity memoir. This is the story of a girl from Louisiana who loved to sing and dance, who became one of the biggest pop stars in the world, and who then lost everything, including herself. It's about what it means to be a woman in this industry, to be judged and controlled and exploited. But it's also about survival, about finding strength I didn't know I had, and about reclaiming my life. Part 1. Louisiana Girl. I grew up in Kentwood, Louisiana, a tiny town where everybody knew everybody. My childhood was a mix of magic and pain. I loved performing from the moment I could walk. I'd put on shows in my living room, singing and dancing for anyone who'd watch. My mama saw that spark in me early and made sure I got opportunities to shine. When I was young, I auditioned for the Mickey Mouse Club and didn't make it the first time. I was crushed, but my mama said I wasn't ready yet. So we kept working. I took dance lessons, voice lessons, went to performing arts schools in New York during the summers. I was this little Louisiana girl in the big city, soaking up everything I could learn. When I finally got cast on the Mickey Mouse Club at 11 years old, it changed my life. I met Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, Ryan Gosling. We were all just kids living our dreams together. Those were some of the happiest times of my life. We'd rehearse all day, then goof around together. I felt free, creative, alive. But even then, there were complications at home. My family had struggles. My daddy's drinking, the fights between my parents. I loved them both so much, but being caught in the middle of their problems hurt. Sometimes I'd escape into performing because it was the one place where everything made sense, where I had control. Part 2. Becoming Britney Spears when the Mickey Mouse Club ended. I was a teenager trying to figure out what came next. I knew I wanted to sing. I got a demo deal, started working with producers, and eventually landed a record contract with Jive Records. I was 16 years old. Making Baby One More Time was incredible. When I first heard the song, I knew it was special. We shot the music video in a high school, and I came up with the idea to tie up my shirt. It wasn't in the original concept, but it felt right. Felt like me. When that video came out, everything exploded overnight. Suddenly, I was flying around the world, performing on every TV show, doing photo shoots, interviews, meet and greets. It was thrilling and terrifying all at once. I was 17, 18 years old, and the whole world seemed to want a piece of me. Everyone had opinions about what I should wear, how I should act, what I should say. The pressure to be perfect, to be sexy but not too sexy, to be sweet but not boring. It was constant. I loved performing. I loved my fans. But I was also just a girl who wanted normal things, to hang out with friends, to fall in love, to figure out who I was. Instead, I was Britney Spears, TM, a brand, a product, a carefully managed image. The scrutiny on my body, my virginity, my personal life, it was relentless. Interviewers would ask me inappropriate questions about my breasts, my sex life. I was a teenager. Looking back, I can't believe how normalized that was, how everyone just accepted that a young girl could be talked about and objectified that way. Part 3. Justin, I fell hard for Justin Timberlake. We'd known each other since we were kids, and when we reconnected as teenagers, it felt like fate. For years, we were America's sweethearts, the perfect pop couple. We matched our denim outfits, we performed together, we were in love. But the relationship was also complicated. Justin was so talented, so driven, and I loved that about him. But there was also pressure, competition, and the constant media attention on our every move. We were both so young, trying to navigate fame and love at the same time. When I got pregnant, I was shocked, but also there was a part of me that wanted it. But Justin definitely didn't. He said we weren't ready, that we were too young, that it would ruin our careers. I had an abortion, and it was one of the most painful things I've ever been through, not just physically, but emotionally. If it had been left up to me alone, I wouldn't have done it. But Justin was adamant. Looking back, I understand we were just kids ourselves, but that doesn't make it hurt any less. When our relationship ended, the way it was portrayed in the media devastated me. Justin's team basically blamed me for the breakup, painted me as the bad guy. His Cry Me a River video implied I'd cheated on him, which wasn't true. He got to be the heartbroken victim, and I was the villain. I wasn't allowed to defend myself or tell my side. I just had to take it while the world turned against me. Part 4. Breaking Down. After Justin, I tried to move on. I married Jason Alexander in Las Vegas on a whim. It lasted 55 hours before my family and team got it annulled. I wasn't trying to be crazy. I was just trying to feel something, to make a choice for myself. Then I met Kevin Federline. Everyone told me he was wrong for me, but I didn't care. I fell in love, got married, and had 2 beautiful babies, Sean Preston and Jaden James. Becoming a mother was the most incredible thing that ever happened to me. Those boys were my whole world, but my marriage was falling apart. Kevin seemed more interested in partying and spending money than being a partner. The paparazzi were insane, chasing us everywhere, putting my babies in danger. I felt trapped, overwhelmed, alone. In 2007, everything fell apart. I was going through a divorce, fighting for custody of my kids, dealing with constant media harassment. The umbrella incident, when I shaved my head and hit that paparazzi's car with an umbrella, that was my breaking point. I wasn't trying to be shocking. I was having a breakdown. I was a mum being torn apart, and nobody was helping me. They were just watching, filming, profiting from my pain. I lost custody of my boys. That destroyed me. They were everything to me, and suddenly I could only see them a few hours a week, supervised. I felt like a failure, as a mother, as a woman, as a person. Part 5. The Conservatorship. In 2008, I was put under a conservatorship controlled by my father. I was told it was temporary, just to help me get back on my feet. It lasted 13 years. Let me be clear. I was treated like a criminal, like someone who couldn't be trusted with anything. My father controlled every aspect of my life, my finances, my career, my friendships, my medical decisions, everything. I couldn't buy a book without permission. I couldn't drive my own car. I couldn't have my phone. I was a prisoner in my own life. But here's the thing. While they said I was too sick to make my own decisions, they worked me like a machine. I did a world tour, a Vegas residency that lasted 4 years, TV shows, albums. If I was really as incapacitated as they claimed, how could I do all that? The truth is, I was healthy enough to make them millions of dollars, but not healthy enough to have any control over my own life. They put me on medications I didn't want or need. Lithium made me feel like a zombie. I couldn't think clearly. couldn't feel like myself. When I objected, I was told I didn't have a choice. My own body wasn't mine. I wasn't allowed to get married, even though I was in a relationship. I wasn't allowed to have more children. In fact, they forced me to keep an IUD in my body against my will. I wanted to have another baby, to grow my family. But they said no. Can you imagine? Having something inside your body that you don't want, that's preventing you from something as basic as having a child, and not being able to do anything about it. Part 6. Performing through the pain. During the conservatorship, I became really good at performing, not just on stage, but in life. I'd smile for the cameras, do the interviews, put on the show. Inside, I was dying. I felt like I had no purpose except to make money for other people. The Vegas residency was grueling. 4 years of doing the same show over and over, in a town I didn't even want to live in. Don't get me wrong, I loved my fans, loved giving them a great show. But I had no say in it. I couldn't take a break, couldn't say no, couldn't make any creative decisions. I was a puppet. I started to wonder if I'd ever be free. Years passed. 5, 8, 10 years under this conservatorship. Other celebrities had conservatorships that ended after a few months or a year. Mine kept going and going. Why? Because I was profitable. Because my father and the lawyers and the managers were all making money off of me. I tried to be the good girl, to do what they wanted, hoping that if I proved I was stable and compliant, they'd let me go. It didn't work. Nothing I did was ever enough. Part 7. Finding strength. Around 2019, I decided I couldn't do it anymore. I refused to perform. I told them I wasn't going back to Vegas. I wasn't doing another tour. I was done. They threatened me, tried to force me. But I held firm. That was the first time in years I'd stood up for myself, and it felt powerful. My fans started the Come and Free Britney movement. At first, I didn't even know about it. I was so isolated from the outside world. But slowly, I learned that people were rallying for me, demanding answers, questioning why a healthy woman in her 30s needed her father controlling her life. That support gave me hope. It made me realize I wasn't crazy. I wasn't alone. What was happening to me was wrong, and other people could see it too. I got a new lawyer, and finally, someone listened to me. In June 2021, I testified in court. I told the judge everything: the forced medication, the IUD, the exploitation, the abuse. I spoke my truth to the world. And you know what? The world listened. Part 8. Freedom. On November 12, 2021, the conservatorship was terminated. After 13 years, I was free. I can't fully describe what that moment felt like. It was like taking my first real breath in over a decade. I could make my own choices again. I could control my own money, my own career, my own body. I could just be. Freedom looks different than I imagined. It's not always easy. I've had to figure out who I am without handlers, without people telling me what to do every minute of the day. I've made mistakes. I've had moments of confusion and pain. But they're my mistakes, my moments. That's what matters. I married Sam Asghari, someone I chose, someone I love. I got pregnant, a miracle after years of being prevented from having children, though I later had a miscarriage which broke my heart. But the point is, these are my experiences, my life, my choices. Part 9. Reflections on womanhood. Being a woman in this industry, in this world, is complicated. From the time I was a teenager, my body was public property. People felt entitled to comment on it, judge it, control it. The same industry that sexualized me as a minor then condemned me for being sexual as an adult. I was supposed to be sexy, but pure. confident but humble, strong but obedient. The contradictions were impossible. I think about all the young women who are going through similar things now, being judged, being controlled, being told their value is in their appearance or their ability to please others. I want them to know you are worth more than that. You are a full human being with thoughts and feelings and rights. The conservatorship was an extreme form of control, but in some ways, it was just an extension of what women face all the time. Being told we can't be trusted to make our own decisions about our bodies, our lives, our futures. Being treated like we need someone else to manage us, protect us from ourselves. I'm done with that. I'm done being controlled, being silenced, being made to feel small. Part 10. My Truth, My Voice. This book is my act of reclamation. For years, other people told my story. The tabloids, my father, my management, my exes. They made millions of dollars off of my name, my image, my life. Now it's my turn. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I've had moments I'm not proud of. But I'm also not the person the media painted me as: the crazy pop star, the train wreck, the cautionary tale. I'm a woman who's survived things that would have broken a lot of people. I'm a mother who loves her children more than anything. I'm an artist who created music and performances that brought joy to millions. Most importantly, I'm free, and no one can ever take that from me again. Writing this book has been healing. It's forced me to look back at my life, the good, the bad, the painful, and own all of it. To stop being ashamed of my struggles and instead recognize my strength. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe I'll perform again someday. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll make new music. Or maybe I'll find other ways to express myself. The beautiful thing is, it's up to me now. For the first time in 13 years, my life is my own. Conclusion. The woman in me. The woman in me has been through hell. She's been exploited, controlled, broken down, and built back up. She's been judged by millions of people who never knew her real story. She's been told she's not enough, not smart enough, not stable enough, not worthy enough to control her own life. But she survived. And more than that, she's thriving. I'm not just Britney Spears, the pop star. I'm Britney, the woman, the mother, the survivor, the fighter. I'm flawed and fierce and finally free. For anyone who's reading this, who's felt trapped or controlled or silenced, please know you're not alone. Your voice matters. Your choices matter. You matter. This is my story, told my way, in my own words. Thank you for listening.